So in today's video, I did a walking tour of Riga, Latvia. It's the capital of the country of Latvia. It has a population of about 600,000, and roughly within its metro area, it's about nearly 900,000 people. And it contains about half the country's population in the metro area. So Latvia has a population of about 1.8 million. The city itself was founded in about the year 1201. So the city is over like 800 years old now. And as we're looking through, this is a beautiful park in the city. It's Bastelona Park, and it's actually located outside the old Swedish fortifications. It was like a star fortress there. And yeah, today's video, I got an opportunity just to explore the city on a walking tour and just have the guide explain all the stuff I was seeing. So I really hope you get to experience some of those things with me today. And yeah, I had a really good time. It's a beautiful view of everything. And I really enjoyed learning about all the different eras of the city, going all the way from the Hanseatic League to the Polish occupation, and then going to Swedish and then Russian, and then their experience of freedom, and then again from like German, Soviet, and now they are a free and independent country. But it's definitely a beautiful place. Experienced a lot of devastation throughout its history, but it's rebuilding now, and it's a really lovely place. And these walking tours are offered for free, but they're donation based, so I usually give 10 to 20 euros or dollar equivalent. And if you've been watching my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the channel so I can continue doing this when I get back home. All right, so I'm here in Old Town Riga, and I'm going to be starting a walking tour today. So just give you a feel of what it looks like right now. The buildings seem to be a bit taller than they are in Tallinn. So yeah, like last night though, I did like a beer tasting, and it was pretty good. Like, got to try a lot of different things, but I honestly am too old to do like the weird sugary beers and drinks and hoppy stuff. I think I just need a standard lager from a national brand of whatever country I'm in, and that usually hits the spot. So I don't know, just all the fancy sugary drinks, beers. I had some that tasted like sodas and stuff, and I'm just like, just not for me. I don't know. All right, so the guide said that Riga was established in 1201 and is actually kind of started as a kind of trading post, and it became like a base for like the Crusades to Christianize the local tribes. So it took about 100 years for them to do that. They sent knights up here. The Catholic Church sent like more clergy, and yeah, just like it was established to basically Christianize the early Latvian people. And then it became part of the Hanseatic League, I guess, like the city. And eventually just kind of got swapped between like all the different imperial powers. Poland was strong at the time. It took over for a while, then Sweden, and then Russia, and then became independent for a brief time after World War One, and then the Soviets occupied it. It's kind of tossed between the Soviets and the Germans during World War II, and the Soviets stayed until 1990, and this is like the longest period of time this country's been independent. So it's been independent for the past 36 years. All right, so we got different buildings here. We're just kind of getting a street view now. I'm going to learn about this stuff, all these different buildings here in just a minute. So I just learned that these towers were established by Bishop Albert, one of the founders of the city, and they're used as early fortresses to kind of pacify the local Latvian tribes. And then later on, they were used for gunpowder storage, and then after that, they were just used as like general storage, like warehouses and stuff like that. And now it's a museum, so it's been serving a lot of different purposes throughout time. So this is the Latvian Military Museum now. At least some of the early city walls, it looks like. So this little section of the medieval wall is actually a reconstruction from 1987. So most of the walls were removed because they converted Riga into an industrial center in the 19th century. It was actually one of the wealthiest cities in the Russian Empire because they built a bunch of factories and shipyards and such here. It's an old cannon. All right, so we were just talking about like a ghost monument over there. So if you look back there, is just like a monument to like lovers that were split up, and I don't know, the story's kind of sappy. So it's just basically like the Swedish soldiers weren't allowed to talk to the local people, and a Swedish soldier fell in love with a local woman, and they have to split apart, and she still like haunts the streets, like saying "I love you." It's kind of silly, but there's a spooky statue of her there. Yeah, the streets are pretty narrow here. If you look at that. So this is the gate to the old city wall. They built like a houses on top of it after a while, and they took the old cannons and they put them here embedded them into the wall to protect the walls from passing vehicles. Because I guess like a bunch of horse carts were constantly banging into them. That's kind of cool. But I guess there's like an architecture firm there now. Oh, wow, look at that. That's incredible. That's a good shot right there. So this is the Church of St. Jacob, and it was originally built as a Catholic church, and then under the Reformation it became a Lutheran church, and then the Poles took over and they turned it back into a Catholic church, and then the Swedes turned it back into a Lutheran church, and I guess whenever it became a country, an independent country, it was the Latvian government converted it back into a Catholic church and gave it back to the Catholic church. So to this date, it's now a Catholic church. So I'll probably go into it later. So this is St. Jacob's, but it does have symbols of the Protestant Reformation. There's a rooster on there, which is a Protestant symbol. So it's kind of had a mixed history. So this is the Latvian Parliament building. A lot of important historical things happened here. I guess like in 1990, they voted to withdraw from the Soviet Union here, and they kind of build barricades all around it because they're afraid the Soviets were going to send the military in here to take it and reoccupy the city, but they're able to keep the Soviets out. And I guess this monument here is dedicated. This little pyramid is a monument to the people who were killed during that time by Soviet secret police. But right now, currently, the government just collapsed because I guess there were some Russian drones that flew over the eastern border, and the defense minister was fired, and they're having an election in like 5 months. So I don't know. It's just they're having like a confusing situation caused by like the neighboring war. So still affecting the countries around tier two here in the European Union. All right, so now we're getting to the front of St. Jacob's. Oh wow, it's another great view here. This tower is huge. Wow, I'm gonna strain my neck here. Oh wow, 1225. Oh wow, they have a Camino marker there. That's cool. I'm gonna send this to my friends. That's like so cool. There's some guys playing some music here. Right, look, there's a Ukrainian flag there, so they're showing solidarity. Sí, esta canción es para ti, mamá. Dang, this score is nice. It's like just beautiful everywhere you go. So this square that we just looked at was actually built in the 1930s. So they tore down the whole section of Old Town here to build it, and it was because the the guy overthrew the government in 1934, Carlos Ulmanis, or I think I'm mispronouncing his name, Ulmanis, and the idea was for him to do his speeches here, kind of like Mussolini, and like the crowds would gather and hear him speak. So if he would have stayed in power, I guess the whole idea was for him to kind of like rebuild the city of Riga based on his vision of it, his like fascistic vision. But um, yeah, so today though, I guess the guide was saying local people kind of appreciate it because it's where they do their Christmas markets here. So it's serving like a, I guess, good purpose in modern times, but what it's originally intended for was kind of something sinister. And this is the Lutheran cathedral here, and this is where like the Lutheran bishop is sits here, and they have like a giant organ here too. Supposed to be pretty cool. So I guess they built this structure for kids to play on, and they filled it with like mythical creatures. So the dragon, there's like a Pegasus there, and I guess the person who built it didn't know what an armadillo was. So armadillos are now mythical creatures here. So it's a little play area outside the church. It's kind of funny. They're kind of weird. I don't know. Armadillos are bizarre little creatures. Yeah, I don't know if you can like hear the bells right now. It's kind of like distracting everybody. Our guide's trying to tell us some stuff, but just kind of take some quick video. So I guess like during the Soviet period, the Soviet Union used Riga as like a main filming area for different like European places. So this street in particular was used to film the Soviet version of Sherlock Holmes. So this place served as Baker Street for the Soviet version of Sherlock Holmes. So kind of interesting. So if you watch any Soviet movies and they have any sort of European locations, it's usually like Riga that you're looking at. Yeah, so some example of wealth being plowed into the city. This is a facade of Art Nouveau style. You can see all like the faces and all the kind of gargoyle looking faces up there. But that sun symbol there is also the symbol of Latvia. So I guess the people here really appreciate the sun. It brings life. That's really cool. I mean, this is kind of a Soviet-esque car park here. Oh wow, it's another square here. It's so cool. It's kind of crazy because this is a reconstruction. So these this building was destroyed during World War II. This whole square was kind of destroyed, and it's all this stuff is new built pretty much, except that building there was built in the 1960s, and this one was built a little bit later. This modernist one during like the Soviet period, but all this stuff is basically rebuilt out of what they thought it looked like or old pictures and stuff. They did a good job, honestly. I think it looks cool. So this is St. Peter's here in Riga, and I guess that used to be a wooden tower, but it got destroyed during World War II. And actually, it is one of the few churches the Soviets decided to rebuild because it's an iconic structure of the city, and it gives you a outlook of the whole city from there. It's the tallest point. So if you want to pay €9, actually the Soviets built another thing in there. They built the elevator because they didn't want to walk up there. So that's a good thing. So if you want to see the entire city of Riga, panoramic view, pay €9 and take the elevator to the top there of St. Peter's. But it's a Lutheran church, so most of the art was destroyed during the Reformation. A lot of the nice stuff in there that makes Catholic churches look so lush was taken out and removed. So it's pretty basic, both inside and out, as far as decoration goes. So this is an old monastery, a Dominican order resided here during medieval times. But I guess the local townspeople would accuse them of being lazy because they would just pray all the time, and being drunkards because they had brew beer. So going through here. They're saying this is what the old wall used to look like. So you can see like the walkways and stuff, the timbers there. This was like the monk's courtyard here. And now it's like a cafe and like a bar. And we're gonna be walking through this little pathway here. Alright, many little secret pathways. It's like an iron door. Oh wow. It's like I'm going in somebody's patio or something. Oh, looks like we have to go through like another tunnel here. Oh, like the city is the secret of city, or a city of secret tunnels. This is cool about a guide because it's like I probably wouldn't even go through this thing if I just like wander around the city randomly. And it's like you usually give them like 10 to 20 euros depending on the place and how many people are on the tour with you, how the quality, I guess. Free walking tours. Good deal. All right, so we're getting closer to kind of like where we started, kind of like winding down the tour a bit. Yeah, here's kind of like the central area. Yeah, a lot of people on cycles here. I mean, the city is like super walkable, honestly. It seems like all the Baltic countries. It's like, I mean, I guess you can have a car, but it doesn't really feel like it's really necessary. Look at this beautiful little garden here. It's a cool idea. So it's the black cat symbol that represents the city of Riga. I guess the lore was that a local Latvian guy was trying to become part of like the trade guild here in this building across the street. And he had money to invest, but they didn't want him anything to do with him. So he built a building here instead. And on top of the building, he put the cat, like, because it's kind of like a black sheep thing, you know, being excluded. And he turned the cat the other way where the butt was facing that building toward the guild, and they got angry and upset, and they made him flip it around by like doing like a court thing or something, like a legal action. But it became the symbol of the city, supposedly, like the black cat. So that's what they say, anyways. The guide was saying it might have just been a made up story from tour guides in the 1980s, but it's like a thing that he's telling. And there's black cats like all over the city, like the symbols, like all over the place. So I'll see if I can spot it in other places. But wow, it's a beautiful day today. So I'm walking up to the Freedom Monument. This was built during the First Latvian Republic between World War One and World War Two. And what it says there in Latvian is fatherland and freedom. So it's kind of like during the Soviet occupation and German occupation, it was like kind of a sore point for them because like, look, we freed you from the Germans. And, but the people here would gather to just hope for a better future. And now they have like a changing of the guards they change the guards every hour. So we just missed it. Sorry if the tour guide was doing a spiel. So but you can see them posted here. But yeah, it's a cool monument. It's been around for a little over 100 years now. Yeah, this park is gorgeous. So this was really intended as like a moat, actually. So this was part of like the Swedish fortifications, and it kind of jutted out as like a star fortress facing the north, kind of block people from coming in from the north. So it kind of wedged the city between here and like the river that connects out to the sea. But they built when it was under Russian occupation, they built a theater over there. You can't see it from here, but I'll get a little bit closer look. But yeah, this park is gorgeous. So yeah, I'm starting to walk towards the theater there. This beautiful park. Look at that. There you are, it's the National Opera. All right, so I came back to St. Jacobs, and I'm gonna check out what the interior looks like now. All right, so here we go. Let's see if it's open. It says the church opens at like 2:30, so I'll come back in a bit. All right, so I'm going to the church now. I think it just opened up, and let's check it out. Wow, check that out. It's like dark wood. Wow, it's kind of spooky. They have an ossuary here. So if you guys have never seen one of these, this is what it looks like. It's kind of scary. That church is pretty interesting with the ossuary at the bottom. Kind of like came out of nowhere. I was like, ooh, that is spooky. But yeah, I think they had to like redo a lot of the stuff was taken out during the Reformation because it was a Lutheran church for a long time, and so most of the stuff in there is being added from different other places. So, but it's cool. I think they're doing a good job at redecorating the place. So, all right, it's St. Jacobs. So I guess you could, if you're interested in this place, you could do more research on your own. But interesting church for sure. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up today's video. I just did a walking tour of the city of Riga, Latvia, and I got to see some of the churches, the main squares, some of the old buildings outside of it. I learned a little bit about what life was like in the city over the past few centuries. And yeah, it was really interesting. I really like this city actually. It's really pretty. The parks are beautiful. Like everyone, it's like friendly place. It's very walkable, and it's like loaded with museums, and it's actually reasonably priced. Like the food is not that expensive. I think they do get a lot of like bachelorette parties from the UK, like hen and stag parties. I think that's what they call them there. So it can get rowdy at night, I think, because there's a lot of places that sell like cheap beer and there's like karaoke bars and stuff like that. But overall, like it's just yeah, we're here near the river Daugus, I believe it's called, and it's gorgeous. This is like the key to the city. This is the reason why it became the place it is today. You know, they used it as access to the Baltic Sea, and it became a major port in the Hanseatic League. So But yeah, it's a beautiful view, and just take a whole panorama. There's a flag, there's the bridge there, and if you look way behind me, that's like a cruise ship. So there are the cruise people that come into the city, so that can also change the quality of your visit if you're inundated with cruisers. But they weren't that bad today. We had some cruise people on our tour, and they were friendly and nice. So yeah, it was a beautiful day. And if you're at this point of my video, please, like, what are you doing? You need to share or like, share, and subscribe. Like, if you make it to this point, I'm just like, you need to definitely subscribe. I don't get the people that watch all the way through and don't subscribe. That's just crazy to me. But yeah, good day today. And actually, I have like I'll be able to do like another video of Riga tomorrow possibly. So hopefully I'll get to explore more like the Soviet occupation history, which I'm kind of interested in. All right, well, thank you. Bye bye.